Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. You are watching the Sports Buzz. I am TJ Walker, joined, as always, at Zaxby's with Nick Roush. Nick, how you doing?
It's March. Feels good. We're here, ready to roll at Zaxby's. I actually had some Zaxby's chicken tenders yesterday, and they were so good I'm craving more. I think I might get some during the break.
Well, you can't go wrong. They're open on Sundays. The best chicken in the game here at Zaxby's. We're at the one on Fern Valley Road, but there are several locations throughout Louisville and surrounding areas, so hopefully you will go and check them out. Nick, since the last time we talked, a wild week of college basketball, especially for Kentucky and for the University of Louisville. Didn't go the way that we thought it would go, but I think the Big Blue Nation woke up today feeling good despite an ugly loss against Tennessee at home on senior night. Shocking loss at that.
Yep.
And then it looked like they were dead in the water in Gainesville. Looked like they were going to be gator bait before they bited back.
Bit back. Bitted.
Bot back into the game.
Back, yes.
And beat Florida in dramatic fashion without Ashton Hagans, without Emmanuel quickly down the stretch, with Nick Richards just not even really showing up in the first half.
Nope.
With Tyrese Maxey, going 1 of 11 in the game.
Missed his first 8 shots.
They won. They won. And UK fans are back to kind of feeling good and ready to roll for March. If you had lost that game with what happened on Tuesday, it was the inverse. You have a 17-point lead against Tennessee in the second half. Tennessee comes back and beats Kentucky, and then you were down 18 with 12 minutes to go in Gainesville. And in the most dramatic fashion possible, Nick Roush, UK comes back to win.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, it really has been a roller coaster of emotion, but if you go from last Sunday to this Sunday, Kentucky fans are probably still feeling about the same because of how great the Cats did play in that second half down in Gainesville. You thought, like you said, TJ, that the Cats were dead in the water, but Kentucky really played incredible down the stretch, and they did it shorthanded. And that's the kind of win, TJ, that really I feel like galvanizes the team, and that's what you want to see going into the postseason.
Yeah, it's what you absolutely want to see. And I'm going to make a case here, and we'll talk about it on Kentucky Roll Call, the show that we host together Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 in the morning. You don't have to worry about seeing these beautiful faces because it's on radio, 1450 AM, 96.1 FM. I'm going to make this case on Monday, maybe a hot take.
Ooh, hot take Terry.
But you can make a case that was the most important regular season win in the John Calipari era at Kentucky. And I would need to hear other candidates for what game that could be. Obviously, postseason, no. Obviously, Kentucky has beaten better teams than this Florida team. This Florida team may not make the NCAA tournament. And a little side fact here, with a win yesterday, Florida would have been the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. They would have played the winner of Missouri versus Texas A&M. Both those teams stink. It would have been an easy road to get to Saturday for Florida. Now they're the 5 seed. They're playing on Thursday.
Brutal.
And if they get to Saturday,
brutal year for Mike
they
White.
may be waiting on Kentucky there and have to play them a third year. So what a collapse there. But what game could you think that could potentially be more important than what Kentucky did against Florida yesterday?
There's one right off the top of my head that comes to mind, and that was back in 2014, right before Kentucky made a big run. They had been kind of meddling around all year. We thought it was going to be 40-0. It was not. It wasn't even close. They got that big win against LSU, the tip-in at the buzzer.
That's true.
They mossed Julius Randle. It was that same kind of feel-good moment. And I think that's what you're looking for when teams are going through struggles. And if, in the case of Ashton Hagans, where his head's not really in it, something's going on there, they needed something like this to really bring everybody together. And to do it without Emmanuel Quickley, who could be the SEC Player of the Year. He fouled out with 9 minutes to play. They called 3 charges on Quickley. It was an absolute embarrassment to officiating, but that's what we come to expect. But he was a no-show for the last 10 minutes. Richards did nothing, and then, like I said, Tyrese Maxey struggled to do all of that. And you had guys like Keon Brooks step up, Johnny Juzang, Nate Sestina, all hit big shots. And heck, even down the stretch, you drew up a play to Keon Brooks to try to go get the win, and E.J. Montgomery there was to tip in the ball with 11 seconds to play to give Kentucky the win. It's right up there. It's one of the best in the way that it went down.
Yeah, and your 14 game, they still ended up losing to a bad South Carolina team after that.
Right.
That was the Aaron Harrison, going to be a great story. And then that team, I think you could make a case in 14, not to go back, but that's just how my brain works, is they went down in Gainesville and played Florida on their senior day. Similar situation to where Kentucky was this year, and they were down huge. It looked like it was going to be another bad loss for UK, a team that ended up being an 8 seed. But they fought back, got that to a 2-point game.
Yep.
They didn't have enough right then and right there to overcome and win that game, unlike this year's team, who did. Now, of course, that Florida team in 14 was the number 1 overall seed and a really good team. They went to the Final Four and lost to UConn.
Not
and of course,
too shabby.
Kentucky was at the Final Four again and would lose to UConn as well. But you know what that UConn team had? They had leaders at the guard position. That's what we've been harping on for this Kentucky team all year is you've got 3 great guards. They can take over games. They can do it all. If one goes down, in this case, if one doesn't play, somebody else will step up. UK will be fine because they're so good at the guard position. They were not good at the guard position yesterday, Nick Roush.
No.
You didn't have Ashton Hagans, didn't make the trip. There's some stuff going on there. UK says personal reasons. Common sense would suggest a suspension. He was a mess against Tennessee on Tuesday. We'll talk about Ashton here in a moment. Emmanuel Quickly, just a bad game, couldn't get in rhythm. Finished with 12 points, which was one of Kentucky's leading scorers besides
Typical
Nick Richards.
Emmanuel Quickly game. Just get to the free throw line, knock down some free throws, kind of scrap around and get double digits.
And then Maxey playing the point guard position. He had a terrible offensive day. Now, he did lead the team in assists, 7 assists for Tyrese Maxey. Kentucky had 9 as a team. 7 came from Tyrese Maxey. I think he finished with 5 or 6 rebounds as well. So despite him not shooting well, and he has limitations as a defender, but I did love his effort. He never gave up, even when Kentucky was down and he played 39 minutes. So he could have played a little lethargic on the defensive end at times. It was never the case. That's not to say he did not get beat at times. He did.
No,
he's got limitations.
Everybody did, but when they really needed stops at the end, I think Florida had, was it 6 points in the last 8 minutes?
Yeah, it was not,
I mean, really shut them down when they needed to mount that comeback. And I got to say, Terry, were you a little worried on that last possession that Florida had the ball?
Well, so I was talking with my lovely wife about, it was funny, we were talking about it later in the evening in the Murray State, which, by the way, I mean, what an unbelievable day of basketball.
Yes.
The Murray State-Belmont game, I asked her, 7 seconds left, Belmont had the ball. I said, well, who would you rather be in this position? Would you rather be the team that was up 1, which was Murray State in that situation, and in our situation, it was Kentucky up 1?
Right.
Or would you rather be Florida, where you have the chance to basically win at the buzzer?
You just got to get a stop.
Yeah, you score, you win, or you score and you lose. Which side would you rather be on that? Would you rather be up playing defense, or would you rather be down with the ball? It's tough.
It's tough, but I have this mentality where I'd rather not lose it. I'd rather go win it. So I would say I'd rather be the team down because it really feels like it really feels like you're going to blow it, and you don't want to have the opportunity to blow it. Whereas, if you got one shot to win, it doesn't go in, that happens. So yes, I wouldn't rather be down trying to score to go up.
That's interesting. I'm always team, if you have the lead, you can't lose. And if you have the lead, you can't lose. No team has ever lost when having the lead besides, what was the Derby horse, Maximum Security?
Yeah, and Louisville against Virginia that one time.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, people forget about that.
People did forget that.
But I would rather play defense. Kentucky did, able to get the stop. Now, it ended up not mattering because Kentucky, Nick Richards misses the free throws.
Yep.
What was Keon Brooks' defense? Should we do a Keon Brooks defensive impersonation on Florida's last
Go
shot?
ahead. Show us.
They missed the shot and Kentucky wins. But that was not the most ideal defense that we've ever seen from Kentucky.
Hey, don't foul. He didn't foul.
Didn't foul. You had a shot that hit every part of the rim.
That was so close. I was sweating bullets
And
there.
Kentucky gets the win, thank goodness, because other dudes stepped up. We're going to talk more about that. We'll give our takes on Ashton Hagans. We'll detail the whole situation for you then. It's a March edition of the Sports Buzz. It doesn't get better than this. We'll be right back.